Hi YouTube, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be taking a more serious note and we will be talking about life after being violated. I have one favor. For those of you who feel like you have negative comments that you want to say, can you please exit now and don't leave your negativity down in the comment section as a courtesy to me and my family. This video is for people who would gain something out of it and who want to leave positive words of encouragement. Okay, on that note, thank you. We will start. I watched a movie recently about this girl who gave up her life or commit suicide because she was violated and she didn't know how to deal with it. And this movie touched me because I myself have been violated 3 times already in my childhood, and I made it this far. So I was just urged to come on here, and I said maybe if I could put out a video and it could get to one person or inspire one person, you know, I would feel like I did something, I served a purpose, because I don't think that anyone goes through things for no reason, and I don't think that we get more than we can bear. It's just that sometimes we don't have the tools so that we could cope with the situations we are put into. So I'll just reverse and tell you guys what happened and then come back to how I cope with what happened to me. As you guys know from prior video, I was in the foster care system, a ward of the state, and under the Department of Human Services watch, I was raped 3 times. Okay, the first time this rape occurred was when I was 12 years old. My foster mother, well, I used to call her grandma because she was an older lady, her daughter's boyfriend raped me, and it was hard for me to deal with. I didn't tell anybody right away. Sorry if I tend to be pausing because I don't want to be, how do I put it? I don't want to say the wrong thing, or I don't want to get on here and break down, because I am a strong woman, but sometimes the thought of people doing these stuff to children is what gets to me. So what happened was I was in foster care. School let out one day early and I went home. I was locked out because I didn't have a key, and he came to take care of his animal. He had a horse in the yard and he come to feed the horse, and he let me in the house. He started to touch me. I started to scream and fight him off. However, I was only 12. He had the upper hand on me, and he took a knife to my neck and raped me and told me if I told anybody he would kill me. That's about it without going too much in details. After that, months later, I went to school and my teacher assumed that I was gaining a lot of weight, and she asked me if I was pregnant, and I said I don't know. She said, are you having sex? I said no. She said, well, then you can't be pregnant. I said I don't know. And she was like, how you mean you don't know? So I told her what happened to me. I am thinking it was like 3 months later. They called the police, took me to the school office, you know, take my statement, and they took me to the emergency room. When we went to the emergency room, they did all the testing and stuff, and I don't want to go too much in detail about that part, but I made it through it, and they put me in counseling. I went through the counseling process, and I still couldn't cope with it because I thought that counseling was BS. You go there and you sit down and you talk about what he did and how I felt about it, and I don't feel like the counselor helped me to cope with it. And up to this day, I don't feel like people who are not in the situation or were never in the situation could tell you anything on how to deal with it. I mean, there's always what the books say, but did the person who write that book went through the trauma of being raped with a weapon? I mean, nothing in this world could prepare you for that, or how to deal with it. You know, it's just time. You deal with it and time, in your own time. Anyways, to get back to the story, the man ended up going to jail for 10 years, and the worst part of it is he pled guilty. They pleaded him down and said like to statutory rape, saying like he just had sex with a minor, which is willingly, but because I was a minor, I couldn't consent to sex. And I felt like they raped me all over again, because here this man was way older than me. I was 12, he was like 30 something, maybe almost making 40, and he forced himself upon me with a knife, and they just felt like it was okay to take away my rights to go to a trial and just be like, okay, he just had sex with her and I guess that's what she wanted. I was not a promiscuous girl or anything like that for them to have come to that conclusion, and that is the part that really teared me down. However, he did serve 10 years in jail and was released. When he got out, I saw him several times. I was thinking that I was to be informed when he's coming out so that I can prepare myself, at least mentally, to face this man, because where I'm living is very small and you are bound to run into him at one point or another. So, but I did run into him and I froze. You know, he saw me. I know that he knew who I was. He cannot be forgetting my face, because I will never forget his face. And I just stand there and I froze, and I could feel the tears running down my face, but I just couldn't move. But this was when I was an adult. I still hadn't dealt with the drama. I just pushed it in the back of my head, so I didn't know how to deal with seeing him as an adult. And my friend was with me, and I ended up in the emergency room. I had a panic attack and everything, and I was like, you know, I didn't know how to cope with it. The most they did was referred me to see a counselor, but I didn't go because I felt it would have been a waste of time. Going back again, I was raped again when I was older than that. I don't remember the exact age, for the mere fact that I tried to push that so far in the back of my memory. It was a friend to my family and my real family, you know. I had just gotten to know them, and I remember me staying with my aunt, and this man, he's a friend of the family. He sent me to the store to get onions for him. I will never forget. And when I come back from the store and I went to the door and I gave him the onion, he was like, come in and sit down. But I didn't take it as nothing, because I mean, and most people here are friendly, and he was a friend to my family. He knew my mother, he knew my aunts and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. I came in and sit down. He was like, thanks for going for the onions. I was just here cooking and stuff. My God, here we go again. So I went outside and I sat on a wall. He had this like cement wall outside his house. I just sat on there, and he was just talking, but my back was turned to him, watching the road. Okay, so he was just talking, nothing. He wasn't talking about nothing out of the way or anything like that. And I was just listening to what he was saying. And For some reason he come and I feel a knife up against my throat. And I was like, I froze. I already had been in this situation and I just didn't know what to do. He was like, walk. And I just got up and walked toward the house. And in my head, I'm saying, the first time this happened to me, I nearly didn't make it out, and I was not gonna make the mistake of losing my life to this man. Okay, I was not gonna fight him. You know, I decided that it wouldn't be in my best interest to fight him. He's way bigger than me, he's older than me, he's tougher than me, he's stronger than me, and I just felt like if I made the wrong move, he would slit my throat. I went with him, and it was like the wall was like two seconds away from the house. It wasn't like, and I felt like if I screamed, he would have cut my throat because he had the knife pressing against my throat. We went inside. He said, take off your clothes, and I just did what he said. Not that I wanted to do what he said, but I was so scared for my life. You know, I was terrified. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to get on here and cry or make anyone feel bad or make anyone feel bad for me, because that is really not my intention. So I went inside and he raped me. He raped me, and it felt like he was raping me forever. When it was finally over, I just put on my clothes and I went to my aunt's house, and I just put it behind me. And eventually I did tell, and the police were looking for him, and somebody said he escaped to the States because he knew what he did. So he just fled and went to the mainland. Or went back to the West Indies where he from. I don't really know what happened. I don't really care to know what happened. And I was like, this is too much, you know. And he got away with it. He got away with it, and I just felt like no one believed me. That's how I felt, because my family was very nonchalant about the situation. It wasn't like, oh, comfort her, you know. And I don't think they know how much that affected me growing up. Like, it affected me a lot. And I didn't have nobody to turn to with it. Nobody. And I just felt like just ending my life. I did at one point feel suicidal, but I didn't. You know, by the grace of God, I didn't do that. Moving forward, you know, I ended up in high school, and I had a part-time job. My life was going good. You know, I put all my past behind me. And I remember being in 11th grade. I think I was in 11th grade, and I was working at a grocery store part-time. However, where I'm from, children who attend school couldn't work past 9 o'clock. So you had to be out by 9 o'clock. And my foster parent, she used to leave us stranded. Okay? Yes, she agreed for me to have a part-time job, but it was like she didn't care that much, and we used to be stranded. And I always used to have to take like gypsy taxi. Now, I don't know if you know what that means. It's these people who, they're not legal taxis, however they do taxis for a cheaper price, you know, that kind of way, just a little side job. They're not really supposed to do it, but I'm not gonna knock anyone's hustle. I mean, they use their personal car, and as where a regular taxi would charge you $10 to go somewhere, they will charge you half the price. That's gypsy taxiing. Well, that's the best I could explain it where I'm located. So one night me and my foster brothers took this taxi, and the man was nice, you know. He dropped us home and he gave me his phone number and said, I see you working here all the time. I gypsy taxi outside, so if you ever need a taxi, you could call me. I'll give you a discounted price because, you know, I know you're a school child and all of this. Okay, fine. So we made it home. Everything was nice. The next day I worked, and our foster parent did come for me. She did, because it was me and one of my foster brothers working at this grocery store, and my foster parent did come for me. However, I didn't finish work in time, and they didn't take me off of my cash register in time, so she was outside waiting a long time, and the store was busy. I think it was around a holiday. It was around some kind of holiday, because the store was busy and I didn't get to come out and count my money and all this stuff. And she left me there and went with my foster brother. And I was like, it's okay, I get paid, I will take a taxi, it's fine. So I proceeded outside and I called the man's phone number. And I was like, hey, where are you? I need a taxi tonight. And he was like, I'm not outside. I went to take somebody else, and I went on a run with somebody else to drop somebody else home. But I will come back for you. Just wait. Little did I know, I was setting myself up to be raped. I said, do I look like my forehead say rape me on it? Do I have that look? Do I look vulnerable? Do I walk around with a letter V on my chest that says victim so people could know to attack me? How am I carrying myself? I mean, I was in my school clothes, so I couldn't be dressing no vulgar. Or I'm not saying that anyone deserves this because they dress a type of way or anything like that, but I'm just saying these are stuff that people say make you get raped or make people look at you in a different kind of way, and I wasn't like that, so I couldn't understand. He picked me up, and I lived far away, okay? I lived far, and it's like in a secluded area. I mean, so we were driving, and he made a turn off the road, and I was like, no, I live up there. You forget where you dropped me last night? And he was like, no, I ain't forget. And he kept driving up the road, and I'm trying to open the door. The door wouldn't open. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? He was like, you look nice, talking to me. He wanted to be my boyfriend. And I was like, you're old man. I am in school. I'm concentrating on my studies. I don't have no time for no boyfriend. What are you talking about? I said, just drop me home and we'll just forget this ever happened. Okay, because obviously you don't see our age difference and stuff. And he was like, yeah, but you don't be talking to these other men. Now listen, these men, so-called men he talking about, is people at my job, the security guards and stuff. And yeah, we will laugh outside and make jokes, but I mean, when he said talking, what did he mean? We wasn't doing anything or talking about anything wrong or anything sexual or any of those stuff. So what was he really saying? Anyways, he drove up the road and parked the car. It was dark. There was no light. No houses was in that area. It was a dead end. And I was like, okay, what you want? I already told you that we can't be together. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I already tell you that I can't give you what you need. I'm a child. And he was like, yes, you will. And then he pulled out a gun. And I just said, well, this one don't have to kill me because I've been through this twice already and ain't no way I'm going to sit down and let this man do this to me. I just can't. I can't live through this again. The nightmares, the can't sleep at night, the cold sweats, I can't live like that. Okay, so I He was there talking, and he was like, you gonna do this and that to me. I don't really want to go into details of exactly what he did to me. Just know that it was horrible. And I said, I will do whatever you want. Just don't hurt me. Okay? Don't hurt me. Don't shoot me. I don't want to die. I said, in my mind, I said, I have so much to live for. You know, I have my brother. I can't take this again. And he did whatever he had to do, and I just went home. He dropped me home. When he dropped me home, I turned around and I looked at the license plate number. And as I entered the house, I rushed to my room and write it down on a piece of paper. However, my foster parent was not home. So I just laid there in my school clothes at the end of my bed. I just lay there. I didn't bathe because I had already been through it twice, so I knew what to do. I didn't bathe. I was like, okay, maybe they could catch him and arrest him. The next day I went to school early. I just left and I went to school, and I went straight to my counselor's office with the number for his vehicle, the tag number for his vehicle, the license plate. And I told her this person raped me, and we went to the emergency room, the same procedure over again. Saw a doctor, whatever, and I was just like, I couldn't cope. I didn't get counseling. And I just was like, I don't have a mother, I don't have a father, all I have is this one, my brother, and well, that's who was with me at that time. I had other family, but we wasn't close, we wasn't talking like that, because I didn't grow up with them. I had just met them as an adult, or some of them as when I was like a teenager, kind of ish, and it wasn't like we was close, and I didn't have nobody to turn to. And some may say this is why I'm a lesbian. No, it's not, because I dated men after that, and I don't have a problem with men. Okay, I really don't. I have a problem with men that feel like they have to force themselves onto women to get what they want. That's what I have a problem with. Okay, and they looked for the man because I had the license plate, and he fled. He left. You know, he another one that left and got away with it. I never saw him again. I never saw him again. And I was just left to deal with it. How did I deal with it? I prayed. I prayed, I cried, I prayed. I didn't try to hide it. I talked about it. I prayed about it. I talked to people about it. Not, anyone that would listen. Talking really, really, really helps, okay? Battling it up inside, that will not help at all. You will become depressed. Talking about it helps, especially if I had talked. Sorry, a plane is passing. I don't know if you could hear it. Especially when I talk to people that been through the same situation, it would make it easier. Especially if it was someone who went through the situation and they came out like successful and they're a good person and they have all their dreams and stuff. That made me fight my way, And this is one thing somebody who went through the situation said to me. She said, you know what? We have to realize, or you have to realize, that there are good people in the world, but there are also bad people in the world. And why not you? Why somebody else and not you? Things happen to people, okay? And things are going to happen to you for the rest of your life. It might not be rape, it might be something else, but life is not perfect. And because of this, things are going to happen to you. And you just have to say, it's not your fault. This person is a bad person for doing this to you. And you run into a bad person, and that's just all a part of life. You just have to accept it. And I said to myself, I supposed to accept man raping me over and over? I can't take this. She said, it already happened. You can't take it. It already happened, so you are taking it. You can't take it back. You can't take back your virginity. You can't take back anything. All you could do is learn from this situation and help somebody else. Okay? You were put in this situation, not that it was good, because God knows that you're strong enough to help someone else. So that's what I vowed to do, to help other people who been in a situation, to talk to people, to counsel people. I am not a therapist, but I am a listening ear. Okay? I'm good at listening and giving advice. And I found that it was easier for me to get through it with talking to someone who been through it. The part I hated the most was going through it and the therapist or the counselor saying, I know how you feel. You must feel this and you must feel that. I used to snap. Don't tell me how I feel. Oh, you know how I feel. Were you raped? Were you abused? Were you this? Were you that? No, so you don't know how I feel. So you're trying to give me advice on what? Half of a book? Half of what you think you know how I feel? Nobody never knows how to deal with a situation unless they walk in that person's shoes or been in a person's situation. I couldn't stand for people to tell me they know how I feel, or people to say, forgive and forget, that's the past. Can you forgive? And so I used to lash out at people and say such nasty things, okay, because, and that didn't make it right, but I felt like, how you could tell me something like that? Can you forgive and forget somebody raping you? You just imagine that. Imagine somebody doing all kind of vulgar stuff to you. Forgive and forget that. Or if somebody did that to your mother, would you forgive and forget it? But eventually I forgave. And not for them, but for me. And it took me years. Those things happened to me as a child, and I am now learning to cope with it. I could speak about it without like breaking down too much. I mean, I do cry when I think about it sometimes. And I have a gorgeous daughter raising, and to help me God, I pray every day for nobody never to cross her path in that kind of way. Okay? Because I don't think that I will be out of jail. Okay? One of us would end up dead. But to be on the positive side, I'm learning to cope. I am coping, but I'm still learning. Okay? Every day I try new things. I talk about it. I'm not depressed. Does it make me sad at times? Yes, but I'm not a depressed person. I smile a lot. I laugh a lot. I'm a happy person. I'm still not overprotective of my kids. I try to let them live within their age limits, so that they cannot live in fear. You can't live your life in fear of people going to hurt you, or people. What is meant to happen will happen. You can't live in a box. You can't shut yourself out from the world. You just have to realize there are bad people in the world, and bad people do bad things. And unfortunately, the bad thing happened to you. Okay? But it's not the end of the world. It's not. You can live after it. You can. If I can do it, and I was raped 3 times, you can do it. Okay? And I have kids. I mean, not biologically, but I'm raising kids and I'm planning to have kids. I don't hate men. I dated men. But right now I have a girlfriend. That just happened to be the fact. But it's not because I hate men, because I don't, you know. I just felt like these men had no right to do this to me, which they didn't. And if you are watching, they have no right to do it to you either. No one has the right to violate your body or take anything from you without your permission. And if you're going through this situation, please seek help. Tell somebody, okay? Don't ever go through that thing of not telling. All it will do is eat you up inside, okay? That's all. You will think about it all the time. It will never go away. So it's best you open up to someone you trust, talk to them, you know, and hopefully the person you open up to could give you good advice. A therapist might work for you. See a therapist. However, that didn't work for me. I just learned to cope with it on my own by talking to my peers, talking to people that have been through the same situation. Try not to be a victim. I don't go around saying, oh, this happened to me, so I can't get a job. Oh, my mother left me when I was a child, so I can't be a doctor or a nurse. So no, you can't hold yourself back because of what other people did to you. What I did was I used that as the force to become who I am today. You understand? I was willing, and I said I gonna be something, okay? I'm not gonna be a victim. I'm not going to walk around with a letter V on my chest. I'm not gonna be a statistic. I'm not gonna do none of that. And yes, I've been in a situation where I was a excuse my tongue tie. Yes, I've been in a situation where I was a statistic, and I will do a video on that, but I am not going to stick in that, you know. I'm not going to let that control my life. And that's why I got up and I fought. I fought for my life. I fought for my happiness. And now I am with my girlfriend, and I am one of the happiest women alive, you know. Sometimes, okay, life is not perfect, you know. I get sad sometimes. Things happen sometimes, but I know how to deal with situations. Because of this happening to me, I know how to deal with a lot of things head on, and I don't back down. I take it on full force and give it my best shot, and then I leave the rest to God. Okay? If I could do it, you could do it, because I've been through it all. No parents, abused, molested, raped, but I graduated from high school. I left college because lack of funds and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. I will be attending school soon, going back to school soon, and I don't care how long it takes me, but I'm gonna be able to stand up and say I made it. And right now I'm saying I'm making it, and I can do this no matter what no one says to me, no matter what no one did to me, no matter how people say they don't like me, or I feel like they didn't like me. This is why they treat me that way. I am a good person, and I'm nice, and I'm just the way God wants me to be, because He doesn't make junk, okay? And I love me, and I love you guys too. I hope that someone can gain something from this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys dearly. Please come back again. Mwah, mwah. Bye.